right, let's call the Center County Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, October 8th to order. All those are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda? All right, seeing none. Do we have any additions to the agenda from either commissioner? No? All right. I think we could probably go ahead and approve the meeting minutes.
Okay. I'll move to approve the minutes from the meeting held October 1st.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting held on October 1st. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to our proclamations. We have Proclamation 53 of 2024 proclaiming October as Cyber Security Awareness Month in Center County. And we have Chad and Tanya from our Information Technologies Department here to talk about that.
Good morning, thank you. Center County government recognizes the significant role that technology plays in all of our parts of our lives. It's very integral to really everything we do now. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. This started about 20 years ago from CISA, which is the federal government's cybersecurity agency. And it serves as a campaign to raise awareness between government and industry about the importance of cybersecurity and how that, what steps every citizen can take to ensure their own cyber awareness as they navigate through technology. So this year, there are the campaign revolves around 4 simple steps every citizen can take to ensure that their safety is online. First one is around passwords, making sure you are using complex passwords and that those passwords are unique. So you're not using the same username and password across all your accounts. A lot of times what happens is some account you use it for might have a breach on it, and then that comes back if you're using the same username and password for your bank accounts, Amazon, those type of things, then your credentials are compromised. So use strong passwords with uppercase, lowercase, letters and numbers, as well as special characters, and make sure they're unique across the different accounts you have. Second one is to turn on multi-factor authentication. This really helps protect your account should there be a compromise. If you have some type of multi-factor authentication where you get a text message with a code, you use a multi-factor authentication app like Duo, you'll be able to see that someone's trying to log into your account and it's not you, and you can deny that transaction. So this is a great way to help protect yourself online. Most accounts now allow for some sort of enrollment two-factor authentication. The third one is to recognize and report phishing email. Know the indicators of phishing email. A lot of times it's they want to create a sense of urgency for you to click on a link and enter in your credentials. So recognize what might seem like a malicious email. If it doesn't, something about it doesn't seem right, report it to your IT department, or if it's your home account, just don't click on it and delete that email. And the fourth one is to make sure you keep your software and operating systems and your browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge updated. What this does is when security vulnerabilities come out, the applications, the operating systems, and the web browsers will create security patches to close those vulnerabilities. So if you're taking those 4 steps at work and in your personal life, you're going to have pretty good protections against cybersecurity awareness. Some things that we are doing this month is we are doing an awareness series where Tanya's sending out information about each of those 4 topics during each of the weeks of October to our staff. The information is also available on our website for citizens to go to and learn more about the topics. We're also doing our annual cybersecurity awareness training for all of our staff, which we started October 1st. So.
Great. Thanks, Chad. Anything you want to add, Tanya?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we do want to thank the two of you for another year with no breaches, at least within Center County government. Knock on wood, everybody. Because the bad people are out there and they're everywhere. Just want to remind the folks at home, if you get an email or a text message that seems too good to be true, it probably is. And chances are, if one of your best friends needs you to buy some, say gift cards for an upcoming charity event, chances are they'll mention it to you in person or maybe call you on the phone. They're probably not going to send you an escalating series of text messages, making it seem more and more urgent constantly. So unfortunately nowadays, everybody needs to be very vigilant about this because one bad click, one poor decision, and suddenly you could be out thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, I think one of the key things is don't move money around in ways that you weren't planning to based on emails or text messages that you get. You need to go straight to the source before making any kind of financial decisions, including even if you get phone calls that are
Yeah.
scammy. And I've seen now, text messages as well as emails can include, kind of phishing. But thanks for all the work that you're doing. I think Center County government has taken such a proactive approach in ensuring that all of our employees are up to date, I think, on, what are the latest things to be aware of and what to be careful of, as well as making sure that we have the infrastructure in terms of firewalls to protect us. Because, we're working with a lot of sensitive information
Yep.
here in county government, as in any other governmental agency, and we just need to be really careful.
Good point, Amber. Most of the breaches actually involve people, not bots and whatnot. Commissioner Dershowitz.
Well, it's probably about as scary a thing out as anything out there, because not only can it can ruin you in so many different ways,
Yeah.
but the one that just astounds me is the fact that we seem to get like the better you guys get, the better they get on the other side. I just wonder if there's not going to be a time when it's not worth it to communicate or do online banking or anything online anymore. It's like because unfortunately there's a lot of folks out there, and I might be one of them, who have made the mistake of clicking on the wrong thing at a time or two, and particularly older folks that maybe aren't as technologically savvy. It's just frightening that we live in a time when you really can't trust anything
Yeah.
that comes across your computer. You can't trust the validity of the information or the validity of the security or the fact that somebody from Croatia or Albania or whoever, it might be wanting to steal everything that you own. And it's just, these are very frightening times. I think we all need to be aware about what activity we participate in online and treat it accordingly. And if you have family or friends, particularly young folks or older folks, that they understand that you just don't surf around and click on things out of curiosity. That's not how it works anymore.
Yeah, I think most of us have clicked on something. The best thing to do is if you click on something and it seems malicious, is to report it right away. A lot of times the damage can be mitigated the sooner you report it rather than just kind of ignoring it.
But who do you report it to?
Well, if it's a financial issue, you could report it to law enforcement. If you're at work and do it, report it to your IT staff where you work.
You could also, if you get an email from PayPal, for example, you could actually reach out to PayPal to figure out if it's actually from them. And they'll give you different steps to walk through in order to help mitigate the issue.
I'm not clicking on anything anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sometimes you do have to click on things, Steve. Sometimes. So thanks again for coming in and raising Cybersecurity Awareness Month, not just for county government and businesses, but obviously also for the folks at home. Very much appreciate that. I think we could take a motion.
Sure. I will move to adopt Proclamation 53 of 2024 proclaiming October 2024 as Cybersecurity Awareness Month in Center County.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation number 53, proclaiming October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month in Center County. All those in favor, please do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries, and we will present the proclamation coming up. Take a
One
picture.
last question before we, is there a information source or do we have some sort of referral that if people have questions or have maybe just want to learn more about how to perform better cybersecurity, do we have on our website or someplace we can put, resources for information?
Yeah, we do. Under the information technology section of our website, I uploaded the latest information from the 2024 Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which comes straight from CISA, the federal government agency. So there's a page on each of the 4 steps that I mentioned that expands and elaborates what citizens can do to help protect themselves.
Can we banner that somehow so people can find it easier so they don't have to?
Yeah, I could put it on.
They don't have to click too
no.
many times?
Yep.
Maybe
We
post
can
on
do
our
that,
social
yes.
media
Yeah.
with a
There
post
you
about
go.
cybersecurity awareness.
Exactly.
Another good resource is SCLO Library offers seminars for people of all
Yes.
ages to come in and learn about cybersecurity and evolving threats online.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Come on up and we'll take the picture.
Somebody might have just done this recently.
Feeling sore?
Yeah, still a little sore about that.
Are we good, JJ? Now you go this way?
Sorry. I stepped right on Steve.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thanks for answering all those questions.
All right, and now proclamation everybody was waiting for. Proclamation number 54, proclaiming October as Down Syndrome Awareness Month in Center County. And I believe Jennifer has brought a whole crew. So you need to come up to the podium or even overflow onto the seats here, whatever's best for you.
On behalf of Center County Down Syndrome Society, I am honored to accept this proclamation during Down Syndrome Awareness Month. Your support of our organization helps to promote acceptance and inclusion throughout our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be celebrating our 18th annual Buddy Walk this year, next Saturday, October 19th, at the Mount Nittany Middle School from 1 to 4 p.m. Over 400 people come and celebrate and come together, and we invite the community to join us for the Buddy Walk as we raise awareness for our families and our members. Thank you.
Thanks. So stay on up there if you could.
Okay.
I always very much enjoy the Buddy Walk, one of the charity highlights of the year. I forgot my T-shirt at home, so sorry about that. But as you mentioned, it's a couple Saturdays from now on the 19th from 1 to 4
Yes.
at Mount Nittany Middle School. Plenty of parking, nice flat area for the walking. And I believe I think it's the For Good Troop, will they be performing?
That's right. The For Good Troop
Great.
will be performing, singing, and dancing, and we also have some special needs cheerleaders that are going to come and join us this year.
Wonderful, wonderful. So great time, great entertainment,
Yep.
always enjoyable. And I think at this point, hopefully the weather forecast will be good too.
I hope. We're going to have a really fun raffle, too.
Very good. And of course, if the weather is a little inclement, the middle school is quite large and we can just kind of stay in there
There's
instead.
lots of room. We have a really huge walk planned. If it
Mm-hmm.
rains, we'll be walking around the inside square of the hallways.
All
So
right.
everybody can do it.
I think I did that once as well. But yeah, great event, really enjoy it. Planning on being there, maybe even saying a couple of words.
Great.
Commissioner Concepcion?
Oh,
did you
Joe
have-
has something to
good.
say
Oh,
here.
go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that all the money we raise for the Down Syndrome Society we use for enrichment activities and to provide education and support in the community. So some of our members can take classes that they're interested in or swimming lessons and that type of thing. So the money does go somewhere good. And to provide education for new families also that maybe have questions to ask.
Very important. Thanks.
If you don't understand what I'm getting ready for right now, I have troubles of speaking, so just understand me.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Thank you again for inviting us to attend this meeting to formally recognize Down Syndrome Awareness Month. We deeply appreciate your support from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Joe. Very, very good. No, you spoke well. All right, so Commissioner Concepcion, any comments or questions?
Well, just thank you so much for coming and sharing about your event. I'll try to make it there for that event if I'm able to. I think Center County Down Syndrome Society does so much good for families in our community who have children who have Down syndrome, and as you've said, providing all kinds of educational opportunities and service as well as support. And we're just glad to have you as part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Dershowitz.
Well, thank you for supporting all the folks in our community that you do. And I know your events are very popular, and certainly I think it speaks to the dedication of this group that you're making awareness out, making people aware of the opportunities that are out there and the education. So look forward to being up there and seeing more events coming our way. And if there's anything we can do to help, just let us know.
Just do have one point of
Yeah,
clarity.
go
I
ahead.
heard you mention Center County Down Syndrome Society. We used to be that. Now we're the
I'm
Central
sorry.
Region. So we have expanded a little bit
Oh,
into
you're
our
big.
neighboring community. So
Okay.
if anybody you know is not maybe in our county, but next door, we're happy to help with them also.
Oh, wonderful. Good.
Great,
Thank
so
you.
you might cover a good fraction of the WJAC listening area. So that's the Down Syndrome Buddy Walk on October 19th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Mount Etna Middle School. Lots of fun, lots of entertainment, and you have a plan B in case the weather is not conducive.
I need to rest it. Geez.
Tremendous.
Thanks for coming in this morning.
We'll now stay up there for another minute or two. We'll adopt the proclamation, then we'll come and have you take pictures.
I'll
take
move
it
to
up, man.
adopt Proclamation 54 of 2024, proclaiming October 2024 as Down Syndrome Awareness Month in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation 54, proclaiming October as Down Syndrome Awareness Month in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion
Yay.
carries. And you can have the whole group come up. JJ can send you some pictures.
That made my life.
You can get right in the middle of things here.
Thanks for saying aye.
Hey, thanks for coming in. All right. Thanks for showing so much excitement.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
You did great up there.
Good size room.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lisa, do we have an email?
Thanks, man.
That means I'm more than
Answers? All right.
Good job
so
out there.
You're welcome. Make sure JJ gets a copy of that so we can send them. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks for If I ever need a proxy, I know who I'm.
Yes. Wonderful
A lot of excitement
enthusiasm.
there.
Yes.
All right, now to the somewhat less exciting parts of today's meeting. Lots and lots of contracts and authorizations. So moving on to our first one, it's for Information Technology Services, and Chad will cover that.
Hello again. So this contract is to renew our Comcast business connection to provide internet services throughout several county locations. This is our contract that provides the dedicated fiber connections. So we're upgrading in a few different areas. One, we are increasing the bandwidth by more than double in most of our locations. So our main pipe is going to go from 500 megabits per second to a gigabit. We're also adding a location at the sheriff's office, so they have dedicated fiber out to that location as well. And with this service, Comcast provides what's called DDoS mitigation protection. So that's distributed denial of service. Essentially, it protects against a flood of internet traffic, which an entity will send in hopes of taking down the service. So this will provide alerts and mitigation protection if there's some type of issue going on there. Monthly cost for these locations, and these locations will be here at the Willow Bank, our transportation building, Summit Park, our MDJ office in Bellefonte, as well as our sheriff's office as well. So the cost will be $4,388.95 per month. And this will run from October 15th, 2024 to October 14th, 2027.
Great, thanks for covering that, Chad. And as more and more of our services and servers migrate into the cloud, obviously we need better bandwidth. And good to hear that we have some defense now against denial of service
Yep.
attacks. Thank you. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thanks very much. Obviously, this is a hefty contract, but it kind of reflects the importance of having robust internet service for our Center County government across all of these different locations,
Yeah.
because so much of what we're doing does rely on
Yeah.
connecting to whether it's with clients who are using Center County services and with each other. So, thanks for working on this.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Commissioner Dershowitz.
No, it's, I think 1,000 meg speed is going to help us out quite a bit.
Yeah.
It'll be quite an improvement, and hopefully we continue our great relationship with Comcast. So.
Yep, it's been really good. So.
Great, thanks, Chad. I think we could take a motion.
I'll move to add the contract with Comcast Business to next week's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Comcast Business to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
And now we have Norm here with some new software from Motorola that has a cute name.
Yeah, good morning. Request the Board of Commissioners consider agreement between Rave Mobile Safety and Motorola Solutions Company for a new emergency notification software to make public and county department emergency notifications. The software will be used by 911, EMA, and risk management to make emergency notifications to the county residents and county employees. Rave will provide Rave Alert external bundle platform with unlimited emergency messaging to provide timely and targeted messages to the general public to enhance emergency preparedness and response. Rave is offering 2 months free for November and December to start the setup and be ready when our current contract expires on December 31st with the other provider. The funding for this project is included in the 2025 budget with a $10,000 insurance grant through risk management to offset the cost for 2025. The total cost is $23,250 yearly for 5 years with initial setup of $2,500. The total fee for the contract is $118,750.
Great, thanks for covering that, Norm. So it sounds like it's an upgrade to an existing service we currently have.
Yeah, we're changing vendors and we're upgrading. This is a much easier software to operate. 3 clicks, we can make a notification. We went through many demos and this was the system we chose.
Glad we're preparing now with the much more severe weather we've been having. A lot of the folks at home are just discovering that the county government is your first line of defense during a major weather event. So glad to see that we're upgrading that system. Commissioner Concepcion, questions or comments?
Yeah, just so, the numbers that are in our current system for notification be migrated over then?
Yes.
This new system?
We have that data. We can migrate over. There'll be a new launch, a whole new launch program once we get through the process. They actually have a team that focuses on launching the new software.
Right. So getting citizens to sign up for
Yes.
these notifications? Good.
Yeah, you definitely put that on your to-do list once Norm is ready to pull the trigger. Commissioner Dershowitz, comments or questions?
So this is going to replace the Code Red system?
Yes.
And I guess at some point we'll be able to sign up for it and get these on cellular and home
Yes,
phone.
this will replace the Code Red, and like I said, there'll be a launch program once we start getting to that point to get county residents to subscribe. But we'll take all the data that's in Code Red and move it over.
I guess my last question is, does this work regionally? In other words, if we need to inform people that are, for instance, in Boggs Township, we can hit Boggs Township, or does it blanket the whole county?
We can geo-reference each township or
Okay.
a specific area that we want to. So it would just only launch for people that are in that area and not the rest of the county.
Right. And the only other thing I would add is we may want to revisit, the protocol for the use of this system to make sure that the commissioners are aware of exactly how, the decision-making process operates.
Right.
And that was a good question, Steve, about the geolocation, because during the recent flooding in Millheim, pavement was dry in Center Hall.
Right.
That was just an amazing, intense, very limited, I don't know what you would call it, thunderstorm,
Microburst.
microburst essentially, that didn't affect another locality that was only 8 miles away.
Yeah, and this will actually do some polling too, so we could send out notices that, are you okay?
Oh, good.
Or respond yes or no or whatever. There's a lot of different features with it,
Oh, so citizens could actually even respond?
yes.
Nice. Very
If
good
needed.
upgrade.
I think as we are aware, Florida and the whole eastern seaboard, and, a lot of the folks in the eastern part of the United States have been tested over this last short while and are about ready to be tested again. So I think having this technology available is critical.
Yeah, and EMA, we worked with EMA on all the demos, and we see a lot more options that EMA can use this software to deal with flooding events and other events. So we're looking forward to it, the change.
Very good. Did you have any questions, Gary? All right. Unless there's anything else, I think we could take a motion.
Then I'll move to add the contract with Rave Mobile Safety to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have motion and second to add the contract with Rave Mobile Safety to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Norm. We'll move on now to item for Emergency Management Agency. Oh, there she is. Jody will be
morning.
covering
She was
that.
in the green room.
Oh, okay.
I'm here today to ask you to consider acceptance of the Hazardous Materials Response Fund grant. The total is $9,996. It's state-funded for the period July 1st, 2024 to June 30th of 2025. These grant funds are used to cover expenses for our local emergency planning committee. So it covers projects and administration items, and also our retainer fee for our hazmat team.
Great. Thanks, Jody. And again, as before, if there is a hazmat incident, it's the hazmat team at the county level that makes the initial response to those situations.
Correct, and we have 2 of those. We're very fortunate to have
We're
2
very
teams.
fortunate. I
Yes.
think most of the other counties in our footprint share them, and we have 2 of our
Correct.
own. So
Yes.
we're very fortunate. We appreciate both of them. I believe it's Eagle Towing.
Towing and
one in State College.
Center Region.
Center Region.
Hazmat team.
Great. Thanks, Jody. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Sounds good.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
All good?
All right.
I will move to add the contract for the Hazardous Material Response Fund grant to next week's consent agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract for the Hazardous Material Response Fund grant to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks,
Thank
Jody.
you.
And see, Ryan just came out of the green room from probation.
Yes, good morning. The probation department is looking for approval of the continuing county adult probation and parole grant application. This is formerly known as Grant and Aid with Pennsylvania Commission of Crime and Delinquency, and this assists our department with probation officer salaries. The grant total is estimated to be $106,329 for the period of July 1st, 24 to June 30th of 2025. Historically, we've received $99,000. However, a new funding formula that they have created at PCCD is actually, over the next several years, we're going to see an increase. This year, we're seeing a little over about $7,000 increase. And like I said previously, over the next several years, we should be seeing an increase on top of that as well. Just so the board is aware, PCCD is rolling out a new e-signature process. This is a new process that Kerry Hall is working on putting together. Once that is completed, the board will be notified when signatures are necessary.
Great.
I think-
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, if you'd explain that, John, I got the early email on it.
Yeah, so the suggestion is that the administrator would be the signatory for any action that the board would approve. But it has to go through the chair to say, hey, the administrator's going to sign on our behalf after the board takes, action with applications. So that's the process that we're proposing to put in
It's
place.
reasonable.
Yeah, and more of these state grants are now going through these electronic systems, and I keep mentioning to Chad that when they show up, they literally look like they're spam. I have to read it really slowly, and they're like, grant for you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
okay.
this safe to
Not
click on?
clicking on
It says it's safe to click on this one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for mentioning that, Ryan, and glad to hear that the state has slightly changed their formula, so our population increase is recognized with some funding.
Absolutely.
Great. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions? Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
Then I'll move to approve the continuing county adult probation and parole grant application.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the continuing county adult probation and parole grant application. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great, thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, now moving on to elections, which is obviously a very busy department at the moment. I believe John is going to cover the first two, and then Chad will cover the third one?
Yes.
All right.
So, good morning. Before you for consideration is approval of a contract with Babs Callen, which is the county solicitor, in a joint representation with 9 other counties in the second King's Bench litigation that was filed, including all 67 counties. So we are proposing a cost-sharing agreement with 9 other counties.
Great, well, I was glad to see we can take those costs and split them 10 ways instead of the county taxpayer being on the hook for the whole cost. Commissioner Concepcion, any comments or questions?
No, it's just, part of the season.
Yeah.
So,
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'm good.
All right. And then I think we've got a second item that
Yes.
you're also covering.
Before you for consideration is approval of a facility use agreement with Penn State University for the use of a small office space along West College Avenue in the Hammond Building to establish a satellite office for the election.
All right, that's just a few feet from the Allen Street gates.
It's right there at the light, yeah.
Would it be possible to split these two up? Because one I support and the other one I do not. So,
All right, well, we actually have 3, Steve, but split them up into individual ones?
yes, that would be, I think.
Okay.
I can,
All
is it,
right.
Well, we could hear from Chad and then, if you want, and then
Take
break
them
them
as
up.
3 separate motions?
Yes,
All
3
right.
separate motions.
so for the facility use
Yeah.
agreement, this is, Penn State's providing the space. They're not charging us rent per se, so I think, like to just extend some gratitude to the university for providing the space.
Yes.
Unlike in 2020, we're not paying a significant amount of money to use the space.
Yes, there's no charge for the use of the space.
Commissioner Dershowitz on the second one.
I'm fine.
All right, yeah, we very much appreciate Penn State working with us for that satellite office, and it's literally right on the border between town and Gown, about 200 feet from the closest bus stop. And hopefully Penn State employees and the thousands and thousands of citizens who work for downtown businesses can also take advantage of the convenient location. And then we have a third item that Chad's going to cover.
Yeah, this would be a contract with Johnson Controls to provide camera and recording system in the satellite election space. They're the company that put the cameras and recording system in at the Hub and State College Borough. So the total for the equipment in this installation would be $7,809.21.
Great, thanks for covering that, Chad, and glad that we can have the video monitoring equipment even at the satellite elections office. Commissioner Concepcion, any comments or questions?
Yeah, thanks for working on that.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Do we have a price of what it actually costs at the satellite elections office with the addition?
Yes, for the cameras is $7,809.21. That's the equipment and the installation.
For the satellite office?
Just for the satellite office, yes.
And that's rental of the equipment?
No, that's
To purchase the
our,
equipment?
yes.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how we've done it before, and it's
Right.
our equipment, and they just have installed it at the two
Okay.
Dropbox
So then we
locations.
own the equipment at the
We
end
do,
of this?
yes.
Okay, good to know.
All right, so we may be able to repurpose it at some place like possibly Centercrest or something.
Correct.
All right,
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
so we can reuse that.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Any questions from the press at this point?
Yeah, you're right, Penn State is not charging the county for the space.
Correct.
This is in the Hammond Building? Is that what
Yes.
the corner of the Hammond Building?
So if you walk through the Allen Street gates, there's, just to your left, there's an area called Kunkel Lounge. You walk into Kunkel Lounge and the office is right off that lounge.
Who will staff it? Is it staffers from the county, or will it be from Penn State, or who's going to be actually?
It's county staff. We're taking county elections office staff who've worked for us a number of years in the past and sort of rearranging them a little bit, taking some people who are going to be in the vote by mail processing center and have them work at the satellite elections office, and then taking a number of new employees and getting them trained for the vote by mail processing.
Will voters be able to do everything that they could do if they come here to the office directly, or is there certain things that still?
Not everything, no. We'll be there to answer questions, to do lookups in the state shore system. We will take voter registration forms, but we're not going to process them there. We'll transport them here to the Willow Bank, and they'll be entered at the Willow Bank, in part because it can take up to 10 days to research those. And if you're registered in another Pennsylvania county, it takes up to 10 calendar days to transfer the registration. But you could walk in and say, hey, I'm a registered voter. I forgot to apply for a mail-in ballot. I'd like a mail-in ballot. They'll enter it, takes a couple minutes. They'll give you your actual ballot. You can walk around to the back of the room where we have some private cubicles, fill it out, put it in the envelope, please, sign it, date it, and then hand it to elections office staff, and they'll put it in a receptacle, and then it will be brought back to the Willow Bank building for eventual processing.
How soon do you expect it to be open?
Well, we have our election board meeting on Thursday. We'll be voting on it then, but obviously, if it is approved at the election board meeting, we hope to have it up and running within just a couple business days.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Great questions, Gary. Sorry if I answered
All
them,
good.
Amber, you're
Yeah,
chair of the elections.
good answers.
All right. So Commissioner Concepcion, any more comments?
No, so, but we were going to break up these
Right, we're going to break
items.
up into 3 separate votes, right, Steve?
Did you want 3 separate? or-
Yeah.
Okay, I will move to approve elections contract item 1 for the approval of a contract with Babs Calland and Associates.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve a contract with Babs Calland to provide Center County and 9 other counties with joint representation on litigation. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, then I'll move then to approve elections contract item 2 and approval of a facility use agreement with Penn State University for the use of office space at West College Ave in the Hammond Building.
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, I will second the motion. All those in favor of considering approval of a facility use agreement with Penn State University for the use of office space on West College Avenue in the Hammond Building, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-1. Now we'll move on to our third contract.
I will move then to consider approval of a contract with Johnson Control Security Solutions LLC for the installation, testing, and programming equipment to monitor the West College Ave satellite office in the Hammond Building.
Go ahead, Mark.
I'll second the motion. We have a motion and a second to approve a contract with Johnson Controls to provide installation, testing, and programming to monitor the West College Satellite Elections Office located in the Hammond Building. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-1. All right, I think we finished our elections items. Did
Yes.
you have any additional questions, Gary?
Does the county have any other plans, or any plans to open a similar satellite office anywhere else in the county?
we have rolled out plans for our senior centers throughout the county to have voter registration forms on hand and applications for both absentee and mail-in ballots available, but they're not going to have any actual ballots there. You'd have to, we'll eventually run those back to the Willow Bank and enter them from here. Just not quite enough time to get that done, but we will consider looking at that for future elections.
And to be clear, I
Question.
think any citizen can walk into those senior centers to get those. You don't have
Yes.
to be
Don't have
a
to.
senior citizen to do that,
Yeah.
so.
Anybody can walk in and ask for a copy of those forms. You're welcome. All right, moving on to capital projects. Jonathan has 4 items for us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm asking for your consideration and approval of a change order with Ainsworth Incorporated to provide the replacement of the main potable water valve, backflow preventer, and the fire suppression gate valve at the Centercrest facility. This change order would total $31,048.93. The next item, I'm asking for your consideration and approval with Holstrom Clark Electric Incorporated for changes to the main breaker for the solar array. This change would be from a 400 amp single main breaker to 2 200 amp main breakers. This change order total is $16,010.
Great, thanks for covering those, Jonathan, especially considering the age of the facility. Not surprising that we have to change things like the backflow preventer.
Yes.
Commissioner Concepcion, any questions on this first?
Thanks.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Well, I know one thing, you want to have good valves in your system. Because when you don't, bad things happen, so.
Yeah.
It is what it is, so. Thanks for catching that one.
Thank you.
Okay, then I will move to approve capital project items 1 and 2.
We'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 capital project items. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries, and then you've got 2 more items for us.
Next, I'm asking for your consideration for a change order with Mazzaro Construction Management Services to provide 3 additional months of construction management for the Centercrest renovations project. This change order totals $82,887. Next, I'm asking for your consideration for a change order with Mazzaro Construction Management Services for a credit for the construction management of the retaining wall project at the courthouse. This credit is for $49,204.
Well, if we're going to have a change order from one supplier and then get a credit from the same supplier, that always makes it a little easier.
Correct.
Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
So with the Human Services Building, with this change order, we expect them to be on site through the completion of the project then?
Correct. This would be completion through July of 2025.
Okay.
I guess the one question is, is the construction on time? I mean,
We are on time. Overall, we're approximately a week behind schedule, but most of the primes are 3 to 4 weeks ahead of schedule. So the
Okay.
project is moving along quite nicely.
good. Hopefully we'll have a mild winter, we can get it done.
Yeah.
Good.
Very good. Yeah, I think we've got 4 primes on the project,
We do.
so
Yep.
most of them are ahead and one of them's behind, but only by a week.
Yes.
Any questions, Gary?
Does that building have its own solar array?
Yeah, on the roof,
It will.
It will.
yeah.
Are the contracts already covered with the RCO with this construction? I'm just wondering
Oh,
when you
yeah.
have, everything is already,
Everything's already been covered. Everything's, as Jonathan said, going very smoothly, knock on wood. It's the only construction project of this size or larger that I know of that's on schedule and on budget at
Okay.
this point.
thank you.
Construction's a tough business. All right, unless there's any other questions, I think we could take a motion.
I'll move to add capital project items 3 and 4 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to add capital project items 3 and 4 to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great,
Thank you.
thanks, Jonathan. And now for planning, we have a memorandum of agreement with the Center County Housing and Land Trust, and we have Ray and Missy here. Sorry for the long wait in the green room, Missy.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. This is just a annual renewal of our agreement with the Center County Housing and Land Trust, and we provide staff support to CCHLT, namely Betsy Bart, who's our housing coordinator. This agreement, the renewal begins November 1st until next October of 2025. Missy's here obviously today to say a few words about the organization, so I'll let her take over.
Good morning. First of all, it was not a long wait because I too am a supporter of the Center Region Down Syndrome Society, so that was a lot of fun. Love to see them. Thank you on behalf of our owners and our tenants and the board of directors, and most selfishly myself, because I remain the sole staff member of the Center County Housing and Land Trust, for your continued support. Having the technical assistance through Ray's office, especially with Betsy, is immeasurable for what we do in helping our local municipalities develop meaningful and sound housing policy, in addition to us reaching beyond the Center region to provide housing. With Habitat, we're excited. We're now in the Center Hall Borough with another house under construction. We have our home in Phillipsburg that is occupied, and we will be building another home in Harris Township in Boalsburg with Habitat, which is our first joint home for either organization in Harris Township. So I just say thank you for your continued support. Center County is a large footprint for one person. So without partners like the government and the local governments, we just couldn't do it. So thank you.
Great. Well, thanks, Missy, and thanks for bringing up Habitat. Not only have they been doing great work building homes from scratch, but we've also been working with them for our whole home program, and they've been a wonderful partner for that as well.
Yes, they're doing very meaningful work to help people stay in their homes that are affordable right now.
Yep. Good point. Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here to share a little bit about your work, and we're just so glad to be able to partner with you. Affordable housing is clearly just increasingly a concern in Center County, and organizations like yours are really important to making a difference.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Dershowitz.
No, I'm glad we can partner with you and make good things happen, so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Then I will add the memorandum of agreement with Center County Housing and Land Trust to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to add the memorandum of agreement with Center County Housing and Land Trust to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Ray and Missy.
Thank you.
And now Kathy is ready to talk about our fourth quarter drug and alcohol report.
Good morning.
Morning.
45 minutes in, and I get to explain the fiscal report.
Yep.
We'll keep it brief. So I'm here today to ask that the board consider approving the fiscal report for 2023-2024 for the Drug and Alcohol Department. This report shows a total expenditure and revenue of $2,281,268.98 for the time period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. This report includes the standard forms, which includes a summary of all of the staff salaries, our inventory, which is equipment that were purchased in excess of $5,000, which includes a vehicle and a couple of cubicles. So we don't have much equipment. It includes all of the expenditures specific to the office itself, and then a very large spreadsheet by provider of the funds that they received. Just a quick summary of our expenditures. The portion of the $2+ million that we receive, 76% of that comes directly from the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs. Other funding that we receive comes from the Department of Human Services, which is the Human Services Block Grant. We receive about $40,000 in DUI fees from the Probation Department. We have a grant from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, which we share with the Probation Department. 1.5% of the funding that comes to the Drug and Alcohol Office is county funds. There is $60,000 in Medicaid revenue that comes to our department. We have opiate settlement funds that we utilize in expenditures from our departments. And so all of that together is what comes and covers the expenses for prevention, intervention, treatment, and case management services for our agency. We expended all of the revenue that was received was expended this year, with the exception of about $5,500 in county dollars. And since the county operates on a calendar year, that $5,500 will just go for the July to December period for the balance of the calendar year. And there's about $145,000 in federal dollars. And since the federal fiscal year runs through September, we will expend that $145,000 in July through September. And that was planned that way so that we start off the new fiscal year with money in the bank for the first 3 months of the new fiscal year, and can expend those dollars there. So we're off to a great start this fiscal year. And having closed out last fiscal year, we expect no issues or concerns from the department. They've already looked at our report preliminarily and have no concerns. We are hitting all the benchmarks and the expectations that they've established for our department. Any questions?
Great, well, thank you very much, Kathy. Wanted to thank county staff, partner organizations, and the many volunteers here in Center County, including the HOPE Initiative. As the commissioners found out during an interview with National Public Radio last year, we have far and away the lowest rate of overdose deaths per 100,000 in the Commonwealth, and obviously we'd like to keep it that way. So thanks again, everyone, for all your work in this area.
Thank you.
Any death from an overdose is tragic, but thankfully here in Center County, we have a relatively low number of those tragedies here in our footprint. Commissioner Concepcion, comments or questions?
No, just thank you for the report. It really highlights the challenge you have in this department of keeping track of multiple fiscal years that overlap in different ways. So it seems like you're really being very careful to make sure that you make use of every potential dollar coming from outside the county to provide services for our citizens in a department that's really critical for, making sure people's well-being is taken care of here in Center.
It requires a certain level of creativity, but
Yeah.
we do account for every dollar and try to be very strategic in moving them around in a way that will maximize their use.
And Commissioner Dershowitz, I know you've done a lot of work in this area.
Well, no, I'm just very glad that the opioid settlement money is going to do good work.
Very much so.
Is there an overall report of where that money is being spent that we might have access to?
We actually just submitted our most recent report, and so we can make that available.
If you would be so kind.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Certainly can do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
very good. Any questions, Gary? No?
Then I'll move to approve the fiscal year 23-24 fourth quarter drug and alcohol fiscal report.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the fiscal year 23-24 fourth quarter drug and alcohol report. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great, thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
We have a very short consent agenda.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second
We
that.
have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed nay. Motion carries. Move on to our check run with Commissioner Concepcion.
The check that I'll highlight on today's check run is to Cutting Edge Tree Professionals. They're doing a pretty substantial project to ensure that all of our 911 towers are protected from encroachment by trees that could be at risk of damaging them. So they've been doing a lot of work on those sites. With that, I will move to approve the check run dated October 4th.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated October 4th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. John, do we have an administrator's report this week?
Nothing to report at this time.
All right, moving on to reports and announcements. Commissioner Concepcion, I believe, has an update on voter registration.
Yeah, so this week on our voter registration report, we are up 1,278 registered voters in Center County. That brings our total voters on the report to 106,023 registered voters in Center County. Of those, Democratic voters are 43,971. Green Party, 165. Libertarian voters, 622. Those with no affiliation, 15,495. And Republican voters are 42,801. All the other smaller parties comprise 2,969 registered voters, bringing us to that total of 106,023. Our party of the week this week is the Progressive Party, and they have 1 registered voter in Center County. Moving on to our precinct of the week, we're looking at Precinct 73. This is Rush Township South. There are 247 total registered voters in this precinct. They had a total voter turnout of 41% at the April primary election. They vote at the Mountaintop Fire Company at 392 State Street in Sandy Ridge, PA. And we'd like to thank the fire company for the use of their space for our elections for Precinct 73. And that's the voter report.
Great, thanks Commissioner Concepcion. Additional announcements, October 21st, which is now right around the corner, is the last day to register to vote. I believe the deadline is 5 p.m. And then October 29th is the last day to apply for a mail-in or civilian absentee ballot for the November 5th general election. John, do we have any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
All right. And the remainder of our public meeting schedule, the commissioners have a work session in about 4 minutes. We have our Board of Elections meeting on Thursday at 1. And then next week, Tuesday, we have our Board of Commissioners meeting at 10, a Board of Commissioners budget work session at 1, and then another Board of Commissioners budget work session at 3. Any additional questions from the past?
For the election board chair, the county's still seeking poll workers?
Yeah, so you can go to vote.pa.gov if you're interested in being a poll worker or helping in our vote by mail center.
Any idea how many folks, temporary or otherwise, the county will be hiring extra for this election?
John, do you have an answer on that? Because some of them are part-time.
We could get you the breakdown exactly, but it's a lot. So, sorry for the scientific answer there.
Yeah, but between the 86 polling places, and I think we have pushing 60 people at the hub alone, and then the additional 100-plus people who are probably going to be working the vote by mail center, our elections department goes from 4 employees to close to 1,000 in a presidential year. It's a lot of people.
All right. And one other, about the satellite office, the county costs are strictly what we heard here today with the camera. Is there any other costs associated
Plus
with it?
payroll.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Staffing and the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thanks. All right, unless there's anything else, I think we take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 10:57. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned, and